what do the names Jordan Holloway and Christian Jones mean to you?
Fantastic young men. An absolute joy to spend the weekend with them, wasn't it?
And awesome anglers to boot.
Very, very good anglers and very different anglers.
Yes,
aren't they?
Jordan, absolute animal.
And Christian, a little bit more sensitive, isn't he? A little bit more of a faffer.
But a great angler.
Both great anglers. And what a brilliant weekend on the TriCast sponsored Weston Pools Festival we've had this weekend. We've stopped on site, haven't we?
We did.
It was a 3-day festival, 2 days. You had a fixed draw, so you had basically to fish 2 lakes on one of the days and 2 lakes on the other.
And on the third day, it was a random draw, so you could be anywhere, and they put in the bag something known as the clay pit, which is like a flooded pit that used to have clay in it, that's full of fish, and it's like 40 foot deep in the middle, full of great big ass ones. There were talk of £200 coming off it.
£200 come off it the week before. Jamie Hughes had £200 the 2 days before the match, didn't he?
And neither of us drew it.
But where we did draw was quite nice too.
It was.
On the first day, talk me through your first day, Matthew. Where were you?
On the first day, Thomas, I was on peg 5 on Stretton.
Yes.
It were, everyone says, oh, it's alright, it's an average peg. Got there, it looked absolutely brilliant. It's down an arm, and it's out of the main bowl of the lake. There's some reeds opposite, about 20 metres away. And it looked lovely. There were loads of fish moving, topping, bubbling. Proper fancied it. And I ended up winning the section and the lake with £114. But I had a right lovely match fishing because I caught on a bit of everything. Like, I started on the short pole with pellets. Because I didn't really know what to do first day. Because we haven't even been there once before. So some people said pellets, some people said worms, some people said maggots and shallow. And Matty Dawes said you might catch on a waggler or a bomb. So I started short on pellets, caught a couple of carp and a few S1s, and it went a bit iffy. So then I went like 6 metres with maggots on bottom, caught a few eyed and a few S1s on that, went a bit iffy. Pinged some pellets 16 metres where they were a bit of a shell, caught a few on that went a bit iffy. But where I was pinging my pellets, I could see an odd carp moving in grass opposite, like this, yeah. And I thought, you little devils. So I got up, I didn't set my waggler up at the start. So I got up about 2 hours in, threaded her up, 11 footer, flicked a little waggler over, nicked an odd carp on that.
Did you? And
then finished off by fishing worms down the edge. So I literally had a right muddled match, but enough to win section at Lake, and a mint day's fishing. I had 30 odd pounder hide in one net, 50 pounder F1s in another, and 30 odd 40 pounder proper carp in another one.
Well done. Lovely day. You won the lake with that, didn't you? Brilliant.
How did you go on first day?
I love the day's fishing. I can't lie to you. Absolutely brilliant. I drew peg, I think I was on peg 6 on Weir.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a few people before the start, and they weren't overly enthusiastic about the peg. They said it was okay, that it was just on the edge of where it's starting to get good. Apparently the pegs to my left and around the other side of the lake were better.
Right.
And the pegs to my right were probably slightly worse. But we did have a lot of room. There was 10 anglers on the lake, there was 2 5-peg sections, so there was plenty of room on there.
Nice.
But I did have the venue expert, Robbie Griffiths, to my right. Now, Robbie, Preston Innovation sponsored angler, absolutely brilliant. I've been lucky enough to watch him fish before. He's one of these supernatural anglers, isn't he?
Yeah, scary. I've done a few features with him. It's proper scary.
Such a good angler. And a Weston Pools regular.
It's a shame he's such a horrible bloke, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. Anyway, so my match, I thought to myself, I'm up against it here, with probably the pegs to my left being a bit better, and Robbie, obviously, on the right. I thought, so I'm going to fish to my strengths, I'm going to catch a bit of everything. So I found a chopworm line down to my left-hand side, sorry, to my right-hand side of the chopworm line, in about 3.5 foot of water, which was tight into the bank down the edge, quite deep down the edges on there. I fed a pellet line to my left to the other side, and just kinder-potted some hard pellets there.
Yeah.
And I fished a hard pellet line about 11 metres. I kept it really, really nice and simple because I thought I'm fishing for a big weight of fish today. I need to just keep catching because there's quite a small stamp in there compared to the rest of Weston Pools.
Right.
And it's gone an absolute dream, to be honest. I started off catching a few carp on hard pellets on the bottom. Oh, a little carp, £1, £2 things, but that were lovely. And then probably an hour and a half in, I've gone down the edges and I've tried my worm and my hard pellet lines. And the interesting thing was, on hard pellets, you'd pick up a carp nearly every chuck. Only small, £1, £2, £3.
What, here, do you think that's because they boss the carp into it because they're hard? They're like, come on.
Very
eat
aggressive pellets,
Eat
mate.
me.
Very aggressive.
I've been at gym all morning, eat me.
Especially the bigger pellets, you know, the 8mm. Very aggressive.
Hard 8mm pellet must be alright.
Yes, I didn't fish an 8mm, I fished 6 or 7.
Right.
But then the other side, where I fed chopworm and caster, I only caught F1s.
Ah.
So it was quite interesting. Quite
Very.
fun. So I split the two species up. But yeah, I didn't have many big fish, but I did manage to keep catching most of the match. And I finished up with £128 12.
Ooh.
Which I thought, I've done well today.
Mm. Did you think you'd beat Robbie?
No, because he weighed in first.
Oh.
Robbie had £128 14. He beat me by 2 ounces. And I'll tell you what I did do.
Careful.
At one point in the match, I knocked a 10 shot on my landing net.
What did you do that for?
I'll try and rush it and get it in, but I wish I hadn't. Anyway, so yeah, I lost out to Robbie by 2 ounces, but it was good enough for second on the lake and third overall in the match, so I won his load of money. So I was happy.
Well done, mate.
Day 2.
Day
Oh, before day 2, the evening. Now, we've got to mention the nightlife at Weston Pools. We've got to mention young Jordan and young Christian. Absolute devils.
Terrible devils.
Deviant, some would say.
Very devious boys indeed.
Not devious, deviant.
Very deviant boys indeed.
Yes. Great evening. Great
Yeah.
evening. Plenty to drink, didn't we? Well,
2 Vintos. I had a Coke as well.
and
I had a Fanta at one point.
tell them about the 2 young ladies that you managed to attach yourself to.
I didn't. I think it was actually Jordan who introduced us to them, wasn't it?
Well, to tell the full story, we were strolling around the lake, and one of them asked me if I wanted to go for a boat ride.
Right.
But the boat,
In the lake.
yeah, the boat didn't look very stable to me. It was up the side of the thing. I didn't know how well the fisheries management team would respond to me paddling round on Stretton at 8 o'clock at night after 4 pints. But Jordan, however, he was not so averse to the idea. And although he didn't actually go on a boat ride with these girls, he did get talking to them, and he befriended them.
Ah.
And he brought them to our lair, where you were waiting for them. Anyway, great night out, lovely food. The thing I like about Weston, you come off the bank and you have a meal ready to you, don't you?
Curry and rice.
2 pints,
Chips.
off to bed, next morning, ready to go.
Found myself sat on peg 6 on Canal Pool.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I've only ever been to Weston once before, and I was the next peg to where I was on Canal Pool, so I was like, ooh, I know what it's like there. However, it was totally different this time. And I got in my head that I was just going to fish maggots short, a bit like I did the day before, but when I got there, there was a big aerator in my peg. I've got a video of it for you to have a look at. Big aerator in my peg, which meant it was towing a little bit. And I thought, I don't really want to feed anything too lightweight because it'll just get washed away and I won't be accurate enough fishing where my bait is. So what I did was I mixed up a worm slop with some soil, some chopped worms and some casters in it. A little bowl of that. And I also had some hard pellets with me to fish down the edge. And basically I started the match on hard pellets short as I did the day before because you seem to like catch a few quick fish on that. And I did again, 2 or 3 carp, 4 or 5 F1s, and then I've gone to fishing just 5 sections out with feeding little balls of this worm, of soil with worms and casters in, fishing a small piece of worm on the hook, and I've caught odd carp on it, odd F1s, just steady all day. And I was looking about the lake, and I was catching steady, I wasn't bagging, but I couldn't see anyone emptying it around me, so I thought, just keep putting fish in there, or fishing for points because of the festival. And I'd have a little quiet spell, and you'd sort of think, just about to come off it, and then you get another little run of fish, and I just stuck at that one thing basically all day. I did nick an odd fish, pinging pellets long, but it was too far, 16 metres, and then she all the way back. So I sacked that off, and I just concentrated on that until the last hour of the match, when I'd fed my margin, and I fed exactly the same mix of this worm, soil and casters, potted a few little balls in down the edge, gone in with a rig, and I caught a barbel first chuck in. It took me ages to get it in, because you're like 3 or 4 pounds in each barbel. Then I caught another one, it took me ages to get it in, so I got up and put a beastly rig on, red hydro, proper, proper animal rig, and I managed to catch about like a dozen of these barbels in the last hour, and I finished with a lot more than I thought. I actually had £138, which was again enough to win the section and the lake, and I was
second overall.
second on the map.
Beaten by Andy Bennett from my lake. Now he is some bloody angler.
He's incredible. I said it to him about found today. He's unreal.
Yeah.
He's proper unreal.
Awesome talent. I mean, he was on my lake. Fortunately, he wasn't in my section. I do
Thank
Belvedere.
God.
Belvedere peg 24, which I actually drew. I've only ever fished that lake once before. I drew the same peg. Belvedere 24, and I was second in the section that day. I think I had a small weight, £48 something.
Right.
And Jack O'Sullivan won the section that day. This is last year on the Natural Dates Festival.
Right.
And it was interesting, I caught a bit of everything, but I never really felt like the peg got going. I didn't feel I fished it right. It's one of them pegs, it's quite narrow, and I have an angler opposite me, and I've got an angler to my right as well, so you're quite tight at the peg in quite a narrow area. And there's loads of fish there though, so I could see why they peg it like that. And I just thought, because I went long early, I pushed fish away from this, so I made a conscious decision to fish short pole with worms and pellets, and then down either edge. You've got a lovely edge peg to your left with a nice platform with an aerator, which is renowned for barbel and carp.
Yeah.
And I thought, I want to catch down there later, that's going to be the place. And I thought, down there I'm going to fish maggots, because I thought about barbel and maggots. Because it's deep, you can big pot them, present a bunch of bait over the top, heavy float, so that's going to be gorgeous. It was okay, it was just okay though. I had £90, which is more than I thought I had, really. A bit of a nightmare fishing up the pellet line, because I fished it on a soft bottom. Which was against the better judgment really, but it's close into a lot of rocks, so it wasn't an easy thing to call where to fish it, so I thought I'd risk it. It wasn't horrendously soft, it wasn't like some venues where you've got your plummeted and it's a foot down in the sill. It was just soft, it wasn't.
You did hard pellets on a soft bottom?
I absolutely did.
Right.
And I caught mainly down the edge, to be honest. Last 2 hours I came back well. I ended up with £90, which was good enough for second in the section. I think I might have been third on the lake, but I may not have been. I was second in the section, and that was all that mattered. Won the section by default, which was very nice, because the lad to my right actually ended up second on the lake.
Nice.
Josh
Humphreys,
yes.
lovely lad,
brilliant angler. So it was a nice day, an interesting day.
And you're still in contention? 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
You need to win your section on the final day.
Yeah, well, as it turned out, I wouldn't have won anything anyway, but I picked up an envelope Belvedere with some of the Belvedere. I was happy. I went, I had my chili, I think it was that night, wasn't it? No, barbecue, wasn't it? Went and had my barbecue.
And salad.
And then what they do at Weston as well, you actually draw your peg for the following day, that night. And guess what peg I do again?
Oh no, don't I? We're there.
I do the same peg. Belvedere 24 again.
You weren't disgruntled though, were you?
I actually thought it's a really nice opportunity. How many times do you come off the bank thinking to yourself, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done the other. But you don't actually ever get a chance to go back the next day and put it right. So I thought, this is my chance.
Well, while you're trying, carry on, tell us what happened, I'm interested.
Right, well, I thought, I'm going to put right everything I've done wrong. I thought, I caught too many fish like barbel, which are alright, but they take a long time to get in and they don't weigh anything.
Yeah.
I felt that the fact that a big pot of bait down the edge got too many of these barbel in a peg, I felt a few and lost them.
Yeah.
And also, I felt that my hard pellet line on the soft bottom was wrong, as I say, I lost a lot of fish on that as well. I didn't feel top worm particularly good because I felt it was pulling the wrong species of fish into the peg. So, I took 8mm pellets and 6mm pellets, and that was all I took to the peg. And I fished an 8mm pellet on the hook pretty much back to back on 3 lines, down that to that pallet with 2 short pole lines on the top 4 either side of me. I've had an amazing day's fishing. Just feeding little bits of bait, presenting it. I managed to find like 2 areas that were a little bit flatter, but I thought slightly bigger hook bait's better on rocks anyway. So although you're lifting and dropping a lot, it's more visible in it. They can pick it out. Yeah, it's not really dropping between the easy and all that sort of thing. So, well, it's a treat. I had £144, I think I had. But again, the lake fished so well. I was second in the section again. The lad next to me had £178. He actually took a quid off me one side and the venue expert, Matty Dawes, on the other side.
He put it on Facebook, didn't he?
Did ever so well.
Good angler though, isn't he? Very good.
Yeah. He's a brilliant angler, yeah. Andy Bennett did mega, didn't he, yet again?
Again. Won his lake again.
He did. So that left him as the festival winner. But you didn't miss a banana, did you?
I didn't. My third day, I was actually on your lake, wasn't I? I was on peg 11 on Belvedere, and a lovely march. I didn't feel like I'd caught that much, but I actually ended up weighing £153. I know, it's weird though, it's weird. I'll tell you why I felt
In
like...
5 hours as well, this is not 6 hours, 5 hour
I'll
matches.
tell you why I didn't feel like I caught much, because the previous 2 days I caught lots of F1s and barbel and other fish, because I'd fished baits like maggots and worms. Whereas on this lake, I spoke to Andy Bennett, because he'd been there the day before, and had £179, and I had a chat with him, he told me, as he does, he just tells you, doesn't he? He's brilliant. And he says, I just fish pellets short. So I started on my typical pellet short, caught a few big carp. Well, I said big, they're like 4 or 5 pounds.
Yeah,
But they don't look that big, do they? They look like 2 or 3 pounds, but they weigh really well. Fishing hard pellets on a top 5 down the edge, a little bit out from the bank. Nicked a few there to start with, then gone down the shelf, and I caught a few straight away, but the bottom were too soft, and you get all that fizzing, and I fouled up to them. And I had an hour where I lost an odd fish, and it wasn't very good at all. I could tell what I was doing wasn't right. So, had a word with myself, come back in, just onto the hard bottom, about 1.5 meters from the bank, but fishing a top 5 so that I was away from myself. Because I don't like, a lot of people fish a top kit, don't they, and stuff in front of them. I tell you why I don't like doing that, because when you're hooking fish, you're netting them there, splashing about.
Fish at an angle,
yeah, so I just fished a top 5, but at an angle. And I fished either side, because I thought I could nick one there, nick one there. And I had a brilliant last 2 hours at match doing that, fishing a 6mm hard pellet in a band, feeding little balls of micros, throwing a few 4mm in. Just basically did what Andy had told me to do. And like I caught like an odd better carp. I didn't catch many F1s and stuff in between, which is why I felt like I hadn't caught much. Scales have come. And Sam Humphries was in my section that day, and he was on 2 wins, and I was on 2 wins, and when he come up, he'd already weighed in, and he had £143, and I thought, there's absolutely no way I've got that much. I lifted my first net out that I thought I'd got £40 in, weighed £58. So, done my neck, and I ended up weighing 153, enough to win the section, 2nd on the lake, 4th on the match, and ended with 3 section wins, the same as Andy Bennett, and also the same as Robbie Griffiths, venue expert, lovely lad by the way. And Bennett had a bigger weight.
He did, didn't he? He did.
13 or 14 pounds more than me.
But 2nd on the festival.
Yeah, so I ended up 2nd.
That,
I would have took it, mate. I would have took it. And I had 3 mint days fishing, brilliant nights out. We had a right laugh.
Oh, I've loved spending time with them 2 lads.
Great
awesome.
lads.
Jordan and Christian.
And they both did well, didn't they? Christian won his section on the last day. Jordan was...
No, he was, I'll tell you why Jordan was, because I was 8th overall, and Jordan was 7th, and he took great delight in telling me that he had beaten me by a point.
Gavel.
But he had, so what can you argue with that? And awesome weekend.
Massive well done to Andy Bennett. Unreal, brilliant angler. And a huge thank you to Richie Parry, Cagsy Parry, Mike and Rachel at Weston for
looking after us, and it was...
we really enjoyed it.
We had a lovely time. But before we go, I just want to mention something that you forgot to mention.
What's that?
Somebody did rather well off with Peg Ewell on Sunday, didn't they? On Monday.
Richard O'Connor.
He had the biggest weight of the festival, didn't he? 189 pounds.
His biggest weight in the UK, isn't it, that?
I think so. He had that off Peg that Ewell on the day before.
He did, didn't he? However, the pegging was different. He did have 2.
Just get your excuses in, mate. It's fine. Listen, it doesn't matter.
He had,
honestly, mate,
2 and 4 on in with it.
Oh, I know, mate. I know.
And I tell you what were interesting what Rich did though. You know, I fished worms on that peg. He fished pellets and caught proper carp. So perhaps if I'd have fished pellets on that peg the day before, I'd have caught 90 pounds.
As you say, it was more to do with the fact that there were 2 spare pegs. To the left. That's what I think. I think you're right. I'm taking the mickey, mate. I know.
You know what though? I think you should always critic yourself, shouldn't you?
Criticise.
Yeah.
Definitely. So thank you again for an awesome weekend, and we will update you after this weekend when we're going on the Feeder Masters at Hallcroft on Saturday.
The New Junction Canal for a practice match for the Drennan Knockout Cup. If you want to fish, give us a call. We'll book on or send us a private message on Facebook. You're welcome to come. Should be good, shouldn't it?
Absolutely. So we'll love you all and we'll see you next week.
Have a good weekend.